Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about dental tourism in Thailand.
All right, so Thailand is actually the #1 destination for medical tourism in the world, which is really crazy. Over 400,000 Americans sought dental care in abroad, and 70% is the average savings on dental work in Thailand. And the main place, the biggest place where most people go is, of course, Bangkok. And it is world-class treatment with inexpensive treatment as well. So we both have had experiences. We had two totally different experiences. We went to two totally different places. So we'll kind of both share a little bit with you about our experiences there and kind of what we think.
Yeah, and it was two totally different circumstances.
Yes.
So mine was more of an emergency situation, and hers was more of a planned out situation. So keep that in mind as we're sharing these experiences. But essentially, I had a tooth that needed to be extracted immediately. It was causing severe pain. And so I was infected too, I think. So we just looked up on Google that day. It was like 10 in the morning. We looked up on Google that day for somewhere to have this done. And we called them and they said, yeah, we can take it out at 1. So that was pretty amazing right there. That
yeah, it was crazy.
There wasn't this whole like, we got to do a consultation. We got to no. It was just
they do it all in one.
We'll just get it out right now. So that was really good, and the price was cheap. That was advertised, and it did end up being cheap. So we took a cab to the place, and it was kind of a little bit of a wait, and it was kind of more of a place that kind of gets by on Google. So and my experience was a little worse than hers. I would say don't just pick the first place you Google. Ask around, look for people that recommend that had a good experience, because after the two of our experiences, I would definitely have gone to hers instead. But mine was fine. They got the job done. It was cheap, and you know, that was really all I cared about at that moment. So I got there. They did take an x-ray. They did charge for an x-ray. They did take me back about 30 minutes later. And the experience was a little unnerving for me because I think that was the big difference, was the bedside manner between the two. Hers explained was a little bit better. They took me back there. They just said, all right, we're going to do it. And they laid me down. They put a thing over my face so I couldn't really...
So they covered your eyes.
Covered my eyes so I couldn't see. They had numbed me so I couldn't feel anything, and then I could hear them, but they were talking in all Thai, so I couldn't understand a thing that was happening. And then pretty soon I just felt someone reach into part of my mouth that wasn't numb, and I could tell that they had pliers, and they just put it on the tooth and yanked it out. And then they said, okay, all done. So
it didn't take very long.
Did not take long. It was effective, and you know, and then they actually drove us back home. So
they did provide a car. They have a car service, and they actually provided a car and took us back to our apartment. So that was really good. And it was, I mean, overall, like, what would you rate it? So you're saying you wouldn't go back, right?
I would do it again, but I wouldn't go to that place. I would go to the other place. I would definitely do it in Thailand, just from a cost savings. I mean, I've had that done in the States, and it was hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and we're talking, you know, a fifth of the price easily. So if you had major work to do, or, you know, I wouldn't fly to Thailand just to have one tooth extracted, but you know, if you have a lot of work to do, the quality of service is going to be good. So how did that differ from your experience?
Yeah, well, first of all, mine was totally different in that mine was not emergency. I'd had a tooth that needed the work, and it, you know, we were already planning our trip to Thailand, so I basically said, well, when we get to Thailand, I'll just have them do it there. The nice thing for me in this situation was Our building was literally right next door to the dental office, so right out of the gate, I could just go by myself easily. Just walk right next door. If there's any problem, you could walk downstairs and you're right there in just seconds. I made an appointment because I didn't want to do it that day. I had some things already planned for a couple of days, but I wasn't sure how busy they'd be. So I made an appointment and they texted me the day before to make sure, to remind me about my appointment, which I thought was interesting. So, because they ask you for your phone number, of course, when you make your appointment. So they texted me and reminded me. I showed up for the appointment, and everyone was so nice and so kind. The dentist did speak English when he was talking to me, and he did talk to me. She talked to me quite a bit throughout the procedure, but she did speak in Thai to obviously the other workers in the room. So I did get some communication in English, which was really helpful. And then another thing that I found nice was like when they would tell that I had slight discomfort, like you're wiggling around in your chair, someone would reach and kind of pat my hand, which I thought was really nice. It's like, your mom's there comforting you, then you feel better because they know that you're in pain and then they see it and then they feel bad for you. So I liked that. And all the way around, they told me the doctor talked to me afterwards and said, here's the problem, here's how we fixed it, it looks good, here's what you need to do for the next little bit. So that was really good. And then, of course, they called me the next day, too, to see how I was doing. Did I have any swelling? Did I have any pain? Was I able to eat something? So that was really nice as well. And I actually ended up going back and doing my 6-month cleaning with them as well because the price was really good. The service was great. So I would definitely do it again.
Yeah. So I think the difference between the two places we went was because we just Googled mine and we just found hers on a walk by. My place was geared more towards dental tourism, and hers was geared more towards local service.
Right.
And so the local service was better than the ones you're going to find online that are geared towards Americans or mostly, Brits or Russians, who are a lot of the people that visit Bangkok. Those are actually going to be a little bit more expensive than if you find one that's local. So I think you could save money and get better experience by asking around for someone that did something locally as opposed to someone that booked it from the States and then showed up. Because when I was in my appointment, a bunch of other people from Britain came in. It was basically all Westerners.
It was.
In the place.
Yes.
And you could tell they were upcharging a little bit more than when she did hers. It was a little bit cheaper. And hers was more Thai people having work done in the clinic.
I actually didn't run into any Westerners when on any of my visits, and even as I was walking by.
And it was I would say better service in that one. So that's something to keep in mind. The local clinics can be really quite good. And as far as a tip for where you want to plan to stay when you're doing this, of course you're going to stay where you're doing it. But if you don't know, we stayed at the now you're going to want to stay near the BTS line when you go to Bangkok, but we stayed near the An Nut BTS station and Phrakanong, right? And that's the two places where the expats mostly stay, and that's where you're going to see there's a lot of dental
dental clinics
everywhere.
In that neighborhood where we were staying, yes, I picked that one because it was right next door to our building. But literally from there, I could have, in 10 minutes, walked to 5 other dental clinics. Like, no joke. Yeah. Literally just 5. We saw 3 every time we walked to the BTS station. It's that many of them. So there's a ton of them.
Yeah, so if you just stay in that area, you'll have no problem. Now, if you're getting major work done, you may want to...
They do have the dental hospitals, which are better for that.
They do have dental hospital right there, too, so... But overall, I would definitely have work done there again, just based on the price. I think the service is about the same as in the States. The price is probably a fifth of the price.
I would say.
Depending on what you're having done.
It's a huge savings. And for us, we were already going when I had my work done, so it didn't matter.
And if you want to go have a vacation too and do it,
Sure.
it's a great thing.
Yeah, the recovery was really great. It was very quick. I mean, I was up and running the next day, really, and by 2 days later, I was eating whatever, and it was all fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, guys. So if you were thinking about getting some dental work or some medical work done in Thailand, we found Bangkok to be a great place to go for that. Hopefully this video will help you out as you're trying to make your decision and doing your research as well. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave us a comment if you're thinking about going, or if you've been and have had an interesting or good experience, let us know, and we'll catch you on our next trip.